Welcome to the 2026 guide on how to rank your roofing company on Google. I run this workshop once a year, and I probably could stand to run it a heck of a lot more than that because Google changes all the time. They are a moving target and have been since the beginning. We're going to go over all sorts of things here today. I'm going to move fast, but I'm going to stop every once in a while, make sure that everybody's with me. And what I'm going to ask you to do is to type a 1 typically in the chat, okay? Which is why we got warmed up on using that chat feature, okay? All right, so let's go ahead and jump right into this. Let me get over here. Can y'all see my screen, by the way? Give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. All right, good. Just hate to get halfway into a presentation here and nobody's seeing my screen. Okay, so guess what? Google changed the rules again, and they didn't tell you, right? They changed the rules quite a bit, in fact. And a lot of people, a lot of roofers are just unaware of all of these changes. It's really hard to keep up with. And they don't always tell us when they're going to change, okay? When I first started working in this industry in the early 2000s, I'm going to date myself, but in the early 2000s, I worked with a roofer here in College Station. And that's basically when we started doing search engine optimization, for our clients. Prior to that, we were just a web design company here building websites. Well, he wanted us to do for him what we had done for ourselves. And so what we had done for ourselves at that time was basically we had taken up all 10 spots on the first page of Google. Okay. And that's simply because when I went into business in 2003, I knew I wanted to be ranked on Google. That was where things were. And Google was brand new, right? If you do your history on that, they started in 2000 is when the first, Google search engine was released to the world and so forth. I saw that as an opportunity, right? For myself, for my own business way back then. Okay. And so we got our site ranked. Okay, it was brazosvalleydesign.com was the name of the name of the website. That was the name of our web design company. Well, I bought another domain. I was like, you know what? Let's start another company name called Web Unlimited, right? So I ranked that one, and guess what? They were ranked number 1 and 2 right next to each other. And I'm like, if I can do this for 2 websites, what's going to keep me from doing it for 3 and 4 and 5 and 6? And so I built website after website after website after website after website and completely dropped my competition completely off of the front page. They didn't know what hit them, right? So fast forward to around 2005, okay, and we had a roofer here. That was my first roofer that I worked with in 2005. He called us and asked for website prices, right? And so I talked to him a little bit about it, asked some questions, and went through all of that whole process, gave him kind of a quote, just there over the phone. We hung up. I get another call from him, right? And he's like, didn't I just talk with you? I said, yep, let's build you a website, right? And so I explained to him what we had done, how we had completely dropped our competition completely off of the front page. Long story short, he's like, I need that. I need that for my company. I need you to do that. So we had to kind of sit down and figure out this whole SEO process, right? Even back then, it wasn't really even called SEO, search engine optimization. That's what that stands for, right? It was just getting ranked on Google. And people kept coming to me and asking to do the same thing over and over and over again. And we got really good at our processes. What we're going to go over here today is exactly that. And by the way, it's in my book as well, right? Exactly how to do all of that is right here in this book, The Ultimate Guide to Digital Marketing for Roofers. If you hang around to the end, I will give you a free digital copy for this, okay, that you can take and you can read. This goes over an entire framework, which I'm going to talk about a little bit today, of how to do marketing for your roofing company, okay? All right, so let's back to this. Google changes, right? And back in the day, I used to tell people Google would change, 300 times a year, right? Once a day. And then the latest statistics would come out, a couple of years later. And by 2010, they were changing a couple times a day. Okay. Fast forward to today. Let's keep this interactive. Tell me in the chat how many times that you think that they change per year. We'll keep it on a year basis, how many times do you think that Google changes their algorithm per year? The latest statistics show that Google changes, on average right now, today, 5,000 times per year. I mean, absorb that. Imagine if roofing changed 5,000 times a year and you tried to keep up with how it's changing 5,000 times a year. It's impossible, right? Well, it's not. And here's why. If you stick to a framework that I'm going to give you here today, SEO, getting ranked on Google works, okay? The bottom line here is that Google changes a lot, all right? So let's jump into the next one. And so I took some screenshots before I jumped on here, right? And these are some screenshots from around the country, okay? I picked some of the most competitive markets in the country here. What I want to make note of are a few items, right? The first one is that there is a new section up here on the search engine result page. When people type in, who's the best roofing company in Houston, right? This very top spot here is AI driven. Okay, this is the AI portion, if you will, of the search engine result page. Okay, instead of having to say that from now on, I'm just going to call it a SERP. Okay, a search engine result page is SERP. Okay, so in the SERP, right, what we see here, what I see currently today is this right here. Now, what I want you to make note of is that the very next section right here is the 3-pack. It's what we all know, right? There are 3 businesses here. These are the Google business profiles that are showing here. This is the Google Maps, right? Everybody understands what this is, okay? Most people, when they come to us, they want to get ranked right here, okay? Now, notice up here, who is it saying is the best in Houston? Is it any of these 3 who are here? No, it's not. And in fact, if I had taken screenshots, further down, this company, Lawn Smith Roofing, wasn't at all in the first page of Google. Okay, so interesting thing to note. Other things that I want you to make note of are a few new buttons that are up here. Okay, in the top of the search engine result page, you got top rated, online estimates, and open now. When you click on any of those buttons, it changes the actual search up here at the very top. Okay. For this search engine result page. These are new. These are brand spanking new. In fact, maybe a month old at this point, right? Top rated is the most interesting one to me because this actually always, when you go, even if you type in roofing company wherever you're at, so in Little Rock, okay, roofing company Little Rock, if you click on that top rated button, it's going to change the search to top rated roofing company in Little Rock, Arkansas, okay? And it's going to trigger this AI portion there if it's not already there. Okay. So just things to note as we're going through here. Okay. Next is I took a couple of other screenshots, right? Same things to note. Now on this one, what I want you to make note of here, right, are none of these, again, are in the top 3 right here. And additionally, a couple of these were in the organic listings. I didn't take a screenshot of that as I scrolled down the page. But one thing that really stuck out to me are these amount of reviews. Okay. We're going to talk about reviews today, but the amount of reviews has gone dramatically up that you need in order to rank in this specific area right here. Okay. So just make note of that. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. All right. Okay, so same thing here, right? This is in Miami, right? The last one, where was that at? That was in Atlanta. Okay, so this one is in Miami. Who's the best roofing company in Miami? Same exact thing to make note of here is that whoever is in the top is not down in the bottom. Okay, so why is that? Well, there's a lot of reasons that go into this. I did a whole workshop just on AEO a few months ago. AEO stands for AI Engine Optimization. Okay, so this is for right now, as we're looking at this search engine result page, Google's Gemini is driving the AI searches. Now, another button, by the way, and I made note of this on one of my searches, another button is online estimates. Okay, so if you do a search for roofing company Houston, this most likely will show up there. These 3 buttons up here. If you click on online estimates, it actually shows a different search, a different results, right, in all the way down the page. Okay, it's not just the AI that is triggered there, it's all the way down the page. So what you need to be thinking about this year is how you can provide online estimates on your website. Okay, Roofle, Roofr, any of those. There's a couple of other ones that are out there. Roofle is one of the easiest ones, in my opinion, to install on your website and to offer online estimates for. Okay, people are used to doing things for themselves nowadays. They're used to doing research, but now they are used to using things like Uber, right? And Uber Eats. They get to self do their things. Well, why can't you make it easier? And in fact, Google is wanting you to make it easier for them. Okay. Now, in a lot of the things that I talk about in all of my workshops, in all of my videos online, and all of my podcasts is that I believe that you should position yourself, your marketing should position yourself to be the choice in your market, not just a choice in your market, right? There are a lot of roofing companies out there, and there's going to be more that are coming along, right? That are starting up. And the biggest reason for that, if you haven't been paying attention for the past year, since 2025, a lot of people have been getting laid off. A lot of office workers are getting laid off. Okay, because of this thing called AI. More and more of that is going to happen. In fact, I believe it's going to be on hockey stick, okay, where we're going to see across the world, not just the United States, but we're going to see across the world more and more people being unemployed because of AI. What that means for you specifically is that there's going to be more competition in the market because people are going to go out and they're going to say, oh, I'm just going to create a lawn care company, right? AI can't take that. I'm going to go create a roofing company. Okay. So there's going to be a lot more competition out there in the next year to 2 years. So be very, very aware of that. Your marketing should be so good right now that it positions you as the choice. Okay. So that when they enter the market, you're ready. Okay. You're prepared. Okay. The next thing that I talk about is, and this is exactly what I wrote my book on, is you should be positioning yourself not only to be a choice, but you need to make your marketing a machine. Okay. I put a jet here. This is the jet that I worked on in the Air Force. If you look behind me, this is directly back over here. This was the F-117 that I worked on in the Air Force. I learned about machines back then, right? I had to. And what I did learn also is that machines for the most part work, but they're a part of the overall system. Okay. So your marketing machine, your marketing system should have a whole bunch of little machines that are set up and working right in the back end. Things like search engine optimization, things like pay-per-click campaigns, things like local service ads, things like being number one in AI, right? And having ChatGPT recommend your company. Okay. These are all things that should be working in your company. If they're not, then they just need to be set up. Okay. So, all right, before we get into any of this, if you haven't been following me, my name is Chris Hunter. I guess I should have said that at the beginning. Sorry. My name is Chris Hunter. I'm the Chief Marketing Officer of Roofer Marketing Heroes. And I say that kind of hard because I'm so used to saying roofingsites.com. We just recently went through a brand change to Roofer Marketing Heroes. Okay. I am the author of The Ultimate Guide to Digital Marketing for Roofers. I wrote this a couple years ago and outlined a framework that I believe and have proven over and over and over and over again that works for marketing for roofing companies. Okay. So we're going to very briefly go over that here. We are a member of the NRCA, RCAT, HARCA, this National Roofing Contractors Association, the Roofing Contractors Association of Texas, Houston Area Roofing Contractors Association, all of these associations because we are invested into the roofing industry. Okay. As I stated earlier, I've been doing SEO a long time, search engine optimization, what we're going to talk about today. I've been doing it honestly since 1998 when I ranked my own website. When I was in the Air Force, I ranked my own website on Yahoo. Okay. That really, really dates me because Yahoo, right, got beaten out by Google, right? And they've been the top dog ever since 2000-ish. Okay. So I've been doing it a really, really long time. Random fact about me, I like to smoke Texas barbecue on the weekends. If you like Texas barbecue and you are in the College Station area or coming to the College Station area, let me know and I will smoke up a brisket for you that is going to melt your mouth, as my dad used to say. Okay. All right. Mission. We are on a mission to double the size of 100 roofing companies before 2028. Okay. If you're one of those that want to, need help, whatever, right? Stay to the end. We've got all sorts of really cool things. But all of this, everything that I do, my podcast, these videos, the workshop, the book, the all of that stuff goes towards hopefully helping you double the size of your roofing company. Okay. This is what I wrote my book on. Okay. This is the framework that I've developed over the past 20-ish years. I don't remember when I first started developing this, but it's been a really, really long time. It's easy. It's a framework. It's made up of 4 pillars. All right. The first pillar, your base pillar, your foundation of absolutely everything that we do for marketing is your reputation. Because if you think about it, if your reputation stinks or is non-existent, you're brand new to business, whatever, nothing that we do above that is ever going to work. And we've tried, trust me. Okay, we have tried, but when you have bad reviews sitting out there and you're trying to market, well, that erodes trust right away, right? Kind of makes sense. So there's several things that go into this pillar. Things like your high conversion website. You have to make sure that your website is working really, really well so that it instills trust nowadays within 3 seconds, or else people bounce. Okay, so we have to make sure that we tell them what we do, how we solve their problem, and how they can contact you, how they can get it. Okay. Online reviews is the second piece here, right? What everybody thinks about when you think of reputation. Online reviews are super, super important. Okay. And we want to make sure that you understand that that literally is the foundation of everything. And additionally, nowadays with Google themselves, if your online reputation is non-existent or it stinks or it's not good enough, they're not going to rank you. Okay. All right. Second pillar is reach, getting in front of more people today than knew about yesterday. This is what most people come to me about, okay, that want our help, that want Roofer Marketing Heroes to help them. This is what they're usually, talking to me about. But it's only one piece of the 4 main pieces to a good marketing system, okay? These are all machines that should be set up in your company. Okay, so what's in the reach pillar? Search engine optimization, what we're talking about here today. AITEO, we're going to talk a little bit about AITEO, and that's basically ChatGPT, Gemini, Perplexity, any of the chats out there nowadays, right? We want to make sure that you're being recommended by them, okay? That's what AITEO is. Next, Google Maps. That's a part of Google, right? We all know what Google Maps is. If you don't, then come talk to me later. Definitely need to bring you up to speed on that. Google Maps drives a lot of business to those 3 businesses that are ranked there, okay? Google ads, Facebook ads, social media, these are all pieces of that reach pillar. Again, we're going to talk about SEO today and getting ranked on Google. Resell is the next pillar, okay? You are 8 to 10 times more likely, and this is research that has been done time and time again, right? I heard about this when I went to Texas A&M University and was studying marketing. You're 8 times more likely to sell to somebody who's bought from you before and has had a positive experience, okay? 8 to times more likely, but yet hardly any roofing companies, when we have interviewed them, and we've interviewed thousands of them over the years, I would say maybe 1 or 2 have done anything in this pillar whatsoever. Most roofers, you do the roof, you move on, right? All Fortune 500 companies in the world understand that your database is your most valuable asset. Okay? Let me repeat that. Your database is your most valuable asset. It's something that you should go back to over and over and over and over again to at least at the very minimum stay top of mind. If you're not sure how to do this, I did a whole workshop on this a couple of months ago. Go look it up on YouTube, right? There's a lot of really good pieces of this pillar, but it's an important one, okay? Hopefully we can all agree on that. Oops, wrong button. Referral. is the next pillar. Referrals are great, right? Most people, when they come to us, they say, when we ask them the question of what's your sales conversion rate like? Almost all of y'all say 80%. Okay. And that's because of this referral piece here. Okay. Referrals, yes, you're going to close at about 80% close rate, maybe 60%. Okay. But when I ask roofing companies what their referral program is, I get a blank stare. Okay. Do they have anything on their website? Do all of their employees know what your referral program is? Do all of your customers and prior customers know what your referral program is? Do you have a referral program set up for real estate agents? Do you have a referral program set up for insurance agents? Nope. Not a single one have I found out of thousands of roofing companies in interviewing them. Okay. This is a very important pillar. It's hard to scale. Okay. It's hard to scale because when you first go into business, you're most likely getting referrals in for your business. Okay. But as you scale, the harder it is to scale that piece because it's sitting right there in your mind and not formalized and told to all of your staff. Okay. So this is the framework. All right. Reputation, reach, referral, resell, and referral. I call this an evergreen framework because you can take things out of each of these pillars as they stop working. When I first went into business, everybody at the Chamber of Commerce, everybody said I needed to get a Yellow Pages ad. I knew different. I knew Google was the future. I knew that something like this $1,000 machine sitting in your pocket right now was going to come along. I knew that people were going to move towards the internet to find you, okay, to find me. But I caved in. I bought a Yellow Pages ad for a year, right? And my business partner, well ahead of his time, he was a computer techie nerd guy, okay? And he was really, really good at that kind of stuff. And so he set up what we now refer to as a tracking number, okay? We knew how many phone calls came in through that one phone number. And so when the Yellow Pages ad guy came back to me and tried to upsell me on that, going from that 1/8 of a size ad for $800 a month to a half page or whatever that it was that he was trying to talk me into for astronomical amount for a small business at that time for me, we pulled up that tracking number and how many phone calls that we got through that? 0. I got 0 phone calls. So I sent that guy packing. I'm like, this didn't work. Go, leave me. So obviously, I've never really put this into this framework, Yellow Pages, but we would have taken them out if it was, right? So just know that these are all principles, right? You have to have a good reputation. You have to get in front of more people today than knew about you yesterday. You don't have to, but it's really good to get people that come back to you over and over and over again to buy from you. And you want referrals. Everybody wants referrals. Okay. If you do good work, you're going to get referrals. That's what everybody believes, but there's no one asking proactively for referrals. Okay. All right. So that's the system. Now, why do we focus on Google? Right. I have so many people that ask me, why not Bing? Why not Yahoo? Right. Why not any of these, DuckDuckGo? Right. Google has the highest buyer intent out there. I have so many roofers that come to me that have tried Facebook ads and they fell on their face. That didn't work. Well, it's simple when I explain it to them. People don't go to Facebook to find you. They go to Google to find you right now, today. With that $1,000 machine sitting in their pocket, okay? Their iPhone or their Android. They're researching you 24 hours, maybe not 24 hours a day, but your website, everything out there is representing you 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, okay? People can get up in the middle of the night and research you. They research you, they find you on Google, okay? And I knew that back in the early 2000s, and it's still true today. How do I know? Well, there's this place out there called Stat Counter, right? That tracks all of these things, how much traffic that each of these search engines get. Google, right? This was taken in December. I didn't update this. I probably should have updated this, right? But it's probably very true right now. Google owns 90% of the market. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I am a very firm believer in Pareto's Law. And Pareto's Law is simply the 80-20 rule. Okay. That 20% of the efforts will yield you, it's really hard to say that, will yield you 80% of the results. Google is the actually 10% here, right? The 90% that's going to get us what we need. Okay. Instead of spreading our resources out with Bing and Yandex, I think that's Chinese, so it probably shouldn't be in here. I don't think anyone uses a Chinese browser here in the United States. But you've got Yahoo, DuckDuckGo, Baidu. Again, that's another Chinese browser. My point here is that Google is what we want to focus on. Okay. Yes, ChatGPT is coming along. All right. Yes, it is being used right now, definitely by the younger generation for the most part. Okay. People who are tech savvy. All right. ChatGPT, it's the same thing. I didn't take a screenshot or put the screenshot of this here, but ChatGPT is also, 80% of the LLM, large language model market. Okay. ChatGPT is just what Google is here. Okay. A lot of people want to see results. So I took some screenshots of our rankings. And I'm just going to real quickly go through these. If you see, we've got first page, we've got 3,149 for this client, first place of 2,111. I don't know about y'all, but that's a lot. Okay. First place means that they're actually first place in the organic rankings there. Okay. 1,748 in first place on the left here. On the right is 2,693. First place on this one is 1,561. First page, 2,537. And the list goes on and on and on. Okay, we kind of know what we're doing. Okay, so let's talk about how do we dominate Google, right? There are several spots that are on the Google search engine result page. We just literally went over those, okay? So one, you got local service ads. Local service ads are gold for roofers, okay? We're seeing that the conversions from a lead to a sale is much higher through local service ads than they are through anything else. Okay. If you're not running local service ads, go look at our YouTube channel. I ran a workshop on that last year. I will run another one on it this year, most likely, on how to dominate in local service ads. Google ads is the second place. These are pay per click ads. These are important because this helps us also get in front of your target audience and make sure that we can get a lead in from that. These are less trusted than local service ads and a lot less trusted than organic rankings and Google Maps, okay, which are the next two, okay? These are all the 4 spots, and as I showed you earlier, I didn't add here, but AI is also, the AI overview area is also a new spot there too, okay? These are some screenshots to kind of illustrate where they are. Okay. Remember, in those other screenshots that I took, it didn't show local service ads or ads at all when I searched. Okay. AI is taking over. All right. These are the next 2 spots, maps and organic. Okay. Hopefully you understand, what these all are. Maps, it's important. Okay. It's so important. You're going to get a lot of spam. We get a lot of spam calls through maps, right? But there's a lot of customer calls that come through maps as well. Okay. And I think the reason for that is the same reason for local service ads is that it shows your reputation right there front and center. Okay. People have to look at this and say, oh, well, I'm going to call Monarch because they're above, they have more reviews. They might click into that listing and look at some of the reviews, see, really how do the owners or whoever's in charge of responding, do they actually respond, right? And what we see is that typically people don't respond to either good or bad reviews. And if they do, they're very defensive, which is just the opposite way of what you should do, right? If someone is going and putting a bad review out there for you, the right response is, I'm so sorry, sorry to see this. Please give us a call. We're going to make it better, right? If it's someone that you've never done business with, you can't find them in your database, then it's simply, hey, sorry, we've never done business with you. Maybe you're thinking of another company. Okay. All right. So let's talk about the 3-pack here. Okay. It is very, very proximity based, meaning that the closer that your office is to the searcher, the more likely chance that you have of showing up when they do a search for you. Okay. Proximity matters. It matters so much so that I had a friend that I helped with some SEO stuff, right? But they were starting up a new company and a new roofing company in around the southern southwest side of Chicago. Okay. And he called me up. He's like, "Hey, Chris, we're looking at offices. I know that Google Maps is proximity based. What's your thoughts on that?" So we did some demographic research. We found him an office that was literally right outside of his target audience, like his best customers, the $1 million homes. Okay. They were directly right outside of those homes. Fast forward a year to 2 years, they were at $7 million, a brand new company going from scratch to $7 million. And he attributed it to where they put their office because they completely dominated that neighborhood, which was a gated neighborhood with $1 million plus homes. Okay. Proximity is important. It's still important. A real office is even more important, right? Yes, you can set up a Google business profile with as a service area business. It doesn't work. And that's because your competition most likely has an office, has a shop, right? And if they've done what I've recommended and put that shop right outside of their best neighborhood, right? Or in the center of town versus on the outskirts of town, but they have a real office, they're going to beat you every single time. Okay. So getting a real office, a real shop, a real whatever you want to call it, and placing it in the center of town or outside of your best neighborhood is the right choice. Reviews matter. We've already covered this. They matter more than anything nowadays. They matter for Google business profile, for ranking on maps. They matter for local service ads. And more importantly, where the future is heading and is there right now is AI. AI wants to know that they can trust you before they recommend you. Just like anyone referring business to you, they want to make sure that they can trust that you're going to do a good job. EAT, right? This stands for expertise, experience, authority, and trustworthiness. Okay, these are signals that Google shared with us. They don't share with us a whole lot, right? But when they do, I sit up and pay attention. Well, they shared this formula with us maybe about 6-7 years ago, 6-7, right? For any teenagers, I have teenagers, 6-7. Yeah. Anyways, so they tell me I'm not funny. Okay. So EAT is experience, right? Can you demonstrate your experience on your website essentially? Okay. We do that through, testimonials. We do that through job site photos. We do that through case studies of those jobs. We do that through blogs. We do that a whole bunch of different ways. What it comes down to really for Google is, are you demonstrating that you know what to do? Okay. That you can, that they can trust that you know what to do. Experience is the next one. That is simply, what's your experience like on the website? Okay. Do people bounce real quick, right? They come to your website, but they bounce because they can't figure out what the heck you do or how to contact you, right? Or is it really slow loading? So they bounce, they're out. Okay. If it doesn't load in 3 seconds, by the way, fully loaded in 3 seconds these days, people are out. Okay. And maybe if you haven't updated your website in the past decade, right? I'd like to tell you that these things have come out. I don't know if you know about this, the iPhone and the Android phones, the $1,000, machine sitting in your pocket and your homeowners' pockets. If your website does not work first on this, if it doesn't work first on this, they're out. Okay. If they have to scroll left or right, or it's too tiny, I don't know, I'm older, so it's really hard for me to read really tiny print nowadays, right? My kids make fun of me because I have to hold my phone out sometimes, at arm's length, and even then I can't read it. So that's part of the experience. Okay. Make sure that it works first on mobile these days. All right. Next one is authority. Have you demonstrated your authority? And we do that on Google by simply getting good backlinks, good websites to link back to you. Okay. That demonstrates your authority as well as trustworthiness, right? Your trustworthiness is your reviews. It's how trustworthy are the links coming back to your website. If you have 0 links, 0 votes, essentially, you're not going to rank in any market. Okay. I've got 2 more. These are newer ones. Popularity. How popular are you is your company in your market? Does the local little league link back to your website because you've sponsored them? Do you have a link on the Chamber of Commerce's website that links back to you? Do you have a link on the Better Business Bureau's website that links back to you? How popular is your website? How popular is your company? Do you get press, right? Do you get press releases? Do you actually get newsworthy type things that talk about you and your brand, right? There's a lot of this is branding nowadays. Okay. How popular are you? Next one, business hours. Okay. This is kind of an interesting one. And if you think about it, it just makes sense. Okay. So if someone is searching for you at 7 a.m., okay, and your hours of operation are 9 to 5 or 8 to 5, or even better, it's a Saturday and you're closed. You show on Google Business Profile that you're closed on Saturday. Do you think that Google is going to show your listing? Answer is going to be no, right? And in fact, this Labor Day, I had a freak out moment because we run all of our heat map reports for Google Maps, right? We run them on the first Monday of every month. Okay. Well, we came in on Tuesday. Guess what Monday was? Monday was Labor Day, right? Labor Day was a Monday this year. Came in and I looked at the reports and I'm like, holy, what happened? Every single one of our clients were red all the way across the board. So we went from all greens, all nice looking heat maps, and that just means 1s, 2s, or 3s, you know, and we do a 13 mile by 13 mile grid. Okay. Those are all red, meaning that they were 20 plus. Okay. Meaning that they dropped and I freaked out. I was like, oh my God, what just happened? Did Google just kill every single one of our businesses? After a few moments of that, I went and redid one of my clients' heat maps and they came back exactly how they were. And I'm like, oh, thank God. Okay. Because guess what? They had marked themselves as closed on Labor Day. And that's when that heat map ranked. And so therefore, guess what? Google's not going to rank them. So when we checked, right, we checked during typically business hours, right, during normal business hours. And like I said, the first Monday of every month, I think we've changed that now to the first Tuesday of every month, just to make sure that we don't hit Labor Day again, which we will in 7 years, right? Or something like that. Anyways, make sure that your business hours are kept up to date, right? If you have a tool or if you have a call answering service, right? If you're answering your phone calls 24/7, if you have something like what our clients have, we call her Samantha. She's an AI receptionist, right? She answers 24 hours a day if you don't answer, right? It's easy, just like a call center would. You can put 24/7 on your hours there for a Google Business Profile. And that's what we've gone towards now for all of our clients is 24/7, you know, at least the ones that have Samantha and or have their own call center. Okay. All right. These are the big things. There's a lot of things that go into how to rank on the 3-pack. There's a lot of things that go into this. And it's evolved over the years, you know, but these are the main things. Organic SEO. Let's talk about this one. Okay. Same principles matter. EEAT. Okay. It just matters. These are just the signals that we're sending to Google that we're a reputable business. Okay. Landing pages matter. Okay. Most companies that we look at have maybe a couple of landing pages for their main services, right? What I tell and coach people on is you should be adding pages that have the keyword that people are searching for plus your service area, right? So in this case, if people were searching for roofing company in College Station, I want to have a page that says roofing company in College Station. If someone is in Bryan, Texas, right, which is our sister city, I want to have a page that says roofing company in Bryan, Texas. If someone's searching for metal roofing, right, I want to have a page that says metal roofing in College Station, Texas, and one that says metal roofing in Bryan, Texas. Okay. Match up, optimize that page as much as you possibly can without over optimizing. And yes, that's a thing. Okay. Have enough text on that page that demonstrates the EAT principles. You have to have text. We had a client that decided to override our stuff recently. Okay. And they wanted a clean look. So they took out almost all of the text on their front page. Guess what happened to the rankings? Within 2 months time frame, we noticed that they weren't ranking, and I started asking why. You know, my team said, well, it's because they took out the text. We called them. They said they didn't care. It's like, okay, well, you're paying us to rank you, but yet you just went and undermined everything that we have done. Google needs text. That's what it consumes. Okay, text. Yes, it reads images these days. Yes, it knows how to read videos and all that kind of stuff. But text is the main driver of absolutely everything on any landing page, which includes your homepage. Okay, backlinks matter. Okay, you want to make sure that you're getting good backlinks and not trash backlinks, meaning don't go out there and buy, guest blog posts off of Fiverr. Don't do it. Okay. And the reason for that is because most likely those are not good domains that those are going to. Second of all, you don't own those things. So when Google penalizes you over them, you can't easily and quickly go take them and remove them. Okay. It's just bad practice. I learned that in 2011, right? When one of the major algorithm changes came along called Penguin that punished what everybody in the industry was doing. And everyone was buying bad links. And it was just overall bad practice. Okay. Get good backlinks. So what's a good backlink? And what is a backlink, right? I get a lot of people asking that. It's simply a link on a website, on a web page that links back to your website. That's a backlink. It links back. Okay. Most of the good ones out there these days are directory style backlinks. Okay. Things, and yes, I know everybody hates it. Yelp is a really good backlink. Okay. Even the yellow pages, that's a good backlink. Just don't advertise, right? They in their book, but get a backlink on their website. Okay. Better Business Bureau, your local chamber of commerce, the local Little League. Heck, give them $300 or $500 a year and they will link back from their site to yours. And if they don't, then please ask them to do that, because those are really, really good signals for Google. Okay. Just get backlinks. That's literally most. And I've tested this, is just not having text on a page and just getting backlinks, really good backlinks to a site. It boosts that ranking like there's no tomorrow. Okay. Spider food. This is what I call posting on social media. Okay. Because we're attracting the search engine spiders. Okay. We're getting them and attracting them. They consume text. So why don't we feed them the text? We attract the search engine spiders. Spider is just simply a program that goes from one link to another link and digests all of that information and gives it back to the Google database. Okay. And that's how they rank you. RoofingSites.com. Since 2018, RoofingSites.com has helped roofers double their sales by getting their marketing right using the 4R roofing marketing system. If you're a roofing company owner wanting to grow your business, be sure to go to RoofingSites.com and sign up for a roofing marketing strategy session with me. All right. This is the formula. This is the formula that I've used, the recipe that I've used for the past 20 years. It hasn't changed a whole heck of a lot other than the fact that social media has been added, right? We used to use other websites to attract the search engine spiders with, but right now that's what the social media channels do. All right. So what does this all mean? I'm going to pull out my handy dandy drawing tool again. Okay. So obviously everything starts with your website, right? You have to have a website. There's just no going about it. You have to have a website in order to rank on Google. Okay. We use WordPress because it's the number one software tool out there for websites and has been for the past 20 years almost. We used other things in the past, but what we have found is that WordPress ranked better on Google. Okay. So that's what we use. And okay, so you have to have a homepage, you have a website. Landing pages, we talked about those, right? That's, whatever service plus your city. Okay, so roof repair in College Station, Texas. Okay, that's what this page would be about. We add, because of our software, we add 400 of these pages for our clients. Most SEO companies will give you 5, maybe 10 of these. Okay, we add 400 of these right from the get-go with every single client. Okay. So the landing pages are super, super important. These are the things that are going to rank on Google. Okay. Articles, these are blogs, okay, that demonstrate your expertise, right? Because we're talking about a specific topic. We're talking about a specific thing, right? What to look for in your metal roof if you need a new metal roof, you know, things like that. I'm not good at coming up with titles. That's why I have a writing team and so forth, right? But that article is important because it links back to that landing page, okay? And in fact, it's probably going to link to a whole bunch of these landing pages that are related, okay? Now, when we write that and post that article, we share it out to social media, okay? We currently, and this has been in the past, right? We only have a couple of these here, right? We've got Twitter, which is now X. We've got Facebook. We've got LinkedIn. There's also Instagram. I didn't have that icon in here. This is an older recipe, but just bear with me on this, okay? We also have Google Business Profile. Let's see if I can write with my mouse, okay? So we shared all of these places to attract the search engine spiders. And I'm going to attempt to draw a little spider here. And yes, spiders have 4 legs, not 6. Or sorry, 8 legs, not 6. Okay. So we've got our little search engine spider sitting out here, right? With a little happy face. And he's waiting for things to happen. Well, guess what? Twitter, X, right? It noticed, oh, your account shared this. Oh, what is that? And it comes back to that article. And then it's like, oh, there's some more links here. All right, let me go look at those. Oh, cool. I'm going to take those back to the big G, right? The big Google, okay? And then over time, what happens is that these landing pages go up in rankings, okay? It's a very simple thing to do, but not a simple thing to do. It's actually kind of complicated, but it's something that you can do by hand if you need to, okay? Next part of the formula are getting backlinks, right, to the landing pages themselves. I like links from manufacturers, right? We were just talking with a client about that yesterday. In fact, so if you've got a metal roofing manufacturer like this client does, right? We want to get backlinks from that metal roofing website to the metal roofing page. Okay. This will boost that page up dramatically because you're providing all sorts of trust, all sorts of expertise, all sorts of authority to that page because of that one backlink. Now, what if you had a whole bunch of those from all of the manufacturers out there, all pointing back to that one page? Do you know what would happen? That thing would rise right to the top, and it would be hard for anyone to outdo you. Okay, so those are these links over here. All right, the rest of them, 98% of these are nowadays citation type links, and these are name, address, phone number, and website, typically on directories, okay, that Google trusts. And so these all link back to the main homepage of your website, okay? Now, how often do you add articles? We found the sweet spot, by the way, to be about 1 article per week to be added, all right? That's the sweet spot to getting ranked, is add 1 of these a week and share those out on all the social media channels, right? 5 of them that we use: Instagram, X nowadays, Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google Business Profile. Okay. And yes, we count Google Business Profile as a social. It's not really social, but that's what we post to. Okay. All right. Next, this is our current formula. We call this our topical authority strategy. It's very, very similar. As you notice, it's got the website, it's got the links, it's got citations, got our landing pages and articles. It's got the social media stuff, right? But now what we do is that we take a topic, we create a pillar topic out of that topic, let's say metal roofing, right? And then we go through and we answer all of the questions related to that in our blog articles, okay, in the form of blog articles. Then we share that out on social media. Now, here's where it gets interesting. And we tested this out with lots of our clients, and we're rolling it out to all of our clients at this point. Instead of just sharing it once, we then wrote 7 different articles, 7 different, social posts about that one article and linked back to that article from those 7 different things. And then we multiplied it times all of the networks, 35 times per blog post that we're posting out. These are some massive, massive signals that you're showing to Google, and this really skyrockets you right up to the top of Google. Here are some factors. This is a long list, okay? This would be good to take a screenshot of, right, if you want to, when I get to the end here. But these are the known top 3-pack ranking factors. This is actually not just me saying this. This is my industry does a survey of 1,000 of the best SEO agencies in the world. They publish this every year, right? A place called White Spark. And these are the top ranking factors this year right now for ranking in the 3-pack, the Google Map Pack. Okay. 1, your primary category has to match up with the primary category that Google expects. Okay. For y'all, for us, it's roofing contractor. Simple. Okay. Keywords need to be, or keywords can be in the business title. There's so many of y'all that are XYZ construction. I highly recommend that you have XYZ roofing, because if you want to rank for roofing, you need to have that in your business. Here in Texas, it's a simple matter of going down to the courthouse, filing a DBA, giving them $30, right? Getting that name and then changing it in Google business profile and then demonstrating to Google that that truly is your business name. Easy. Okay. Proximity of address. We talked about this, right? Proximity matters. Having a physical address, not a service area business, meaning your house, right? As your address. High rating of reviews, making sure that you have a high rating, that you're 4.7 or higher, right? Is typically what we see. Additional categories. So you can add additional categories to every single Google business profile. You can also, by the way, add them into services. And there's a new one thing. They're called products. And so our standard is to add all of the primary services into the additional categories if Google has them for you. Okay. If they don't, then we add them into the products and into services listings areas. Okay. High number of reviews. I used to coach people that they needed 100. But as we look around, as we looked at any of those search engine results for the most competitive places in the entire world, okay, Dallas, Atlanta, Miami, all of those, if you notice, the top ranked people are over 1,000. So I think the bar has raised. I'm starting to coach people that they need 200. So if you're sitting out there with 20 reviews, you've got a little bit of work ahead of you. Okay. Verified Google business profile. That's kind of a no-brainer on that one. It's got to be verified by Google for them to even show it. Completeness of Google business profile, making sure that you have filled everything out there. They're adding things to it all the time. So you want to make sure that you're looking in there to make sure that you've added things. In the past year, they maybe 2 years ago, they added social media so that you can link to your social media. They want you to connect the dots for them. Okay. The better that you connect the dots for them, the easier it is for your Google business profile to rank. Sustained influx of reviews over time. This just means that you're constantly getting reviews in, not doing it once a year and getting 20 or 30 reviews, right? They want to see that you're steadily getting them. All of our clients know, and we preach this all the time. We coach them on this all the time. We need at a minimum 1 per week. 1 per week will get you 52 per year. Do that for several years and you just keep going up. Okay. It's not hard to get reviews, but it's just like in sales. You have to follow up. You have to ask. You have to try to get that review. Okay. New. All right. This is a new one. Business hours. We talked about that. Okay. Make sure that if you've got a bot, if you got an AI bot like Samantha, like what we have with our clients, then you can put 24/7 there. If you've got a call answering service, you're paying for a call answering service, to answer your phone calls, then you could probably put 24/7 on that too. Okay. But I highly recommend that for anybody. Profile activity, making sure that you're posting to your profile at least weekly. I think that's kind of the minimum nowadays. Okay. And that's just simply because if you're not posting to that on a regular basis, you're not showing Google that you're interested in them. And so therefore they're not going to be interested in you. Okay. Pretty easy. Next new one is behavior signals. This is really, really new, honestly. And this is something that we're testing out with a couple of clients is how many times are you getting Google business profile visits? How many clicks are you getting off of that Google business profile, let's say to your website or for people to call you? Okay. This interaction is important to Google. And it's important because they want people on their platform. They want people using their platform, and they're going to reward businesses that attract all of these types of things. Okay. If your reputation stinks, obviously, none of that is going to happen. They're not even going to rank you. But if everything else was equal and you're getting more clicks than competitor A, they're going to rank you higher than competitor A. Okay. All right. Hopefully all these make sense. Local organic rankings. We're going to quickly go through this because we're well over. I'm sorry. All right. Number one, dedicated service plus location pages. We talked about that, right? It's important to have those. If you don't have those, make sure that you start getting them on your website as soon as possible. Internal linking across the entire website. That's the other important thing that we really didn't talk about is how do your pages link to each other? Okay. You want it to look kind of like a spider web, honestly. Okay. If you were going to map that out and draw it out, you want it to look just like a spider web, because guess what? That's what the internet is. We used to call it the web, right? The interwebs. Quality of inbound links to a domain. We talked about that too, making sure that you have quality links and not trash links. Geographic keyword relevance of domain content. All right. So what this means is that your keywords plus your locations plus your domain all need to kind of add up to your Google business profile as well. Okay. If you match those up, what I talked about earlier on adding your keywords to the categories and the services and the products on your Google business profile, put them on your website too, because we want to connect all of the dots that we possibly can for Google. Keywords are in landing page title. Titles are super, super important, have been since the beginning of search engine optimization. The number one thing that people talk about in SEO circles, just super, super important. Same thing with the titles, quality of inbound links, making sure that those links are good. See, you notice there are two of those there. Oh, sorry, this is quantity. So quantity, right? The amount of links linking back to you is important. Way back in the day, back in 2011, when everybody in the SEO world got hit with the Penguin update, it was because they had gone quantity versus over quality. Okay. They were getting not the best links and Google penalized them for that. Okay. So you've got to have both these days, quality and quantity. The next one, topical keyword relevance across your entire website. If you're a roofer, why talk about porches or outdoor kitchens? Google wants you to say, okay, you're a roofer, you do roofing, you do roof repair, you most likely have gutters, you most likely have siding, you most likely have windows, you most likely have solar. But if you're talking on your website about driveways or I don't know, anything that is not related to roofing, you're going to get penalized a little bit there. Okay. Make it topically relevant. 8, volume of quality content on service pages, right? Yes, we can add those pages, but if it is the same exact text on every single one of those pages, Google's going to penalize you. Okay. So make sure that you have good quality on those pages, all right, that they're different. Volume of quality content on the entire website, all right? So that's the other thing. The biggest one that I see, honestly, when I go to roofers' websites, the very number one thing that I notice is that there's just not enough content at all. There's not enough blogs being added. There's not enough service pages. There's not enough of anything. And again, remember, Google consumes text. So you got to have those pages with text on them that match up with the search that we want people to search for. Keywords and anchor text, right? So when we link to a website, okay, let's go back to that illustration of getting the metal roofing manufacturers linking back to your metal roofing page. We want to say, if we can, in that link, we want it to say metal roofing company in College Station, Texas. That links to the metal roofing company page, metal roofing company in College Station, Texas page. Okay. There was a spam update in August, right? Most of us didn't figure this out until November because that's how it works. Okay. We want to make sure that you're getting quality links only. This is a big one now. Okay. All of those guest blog posts that everyone's been getting in the industry for the past 10 years, Google is penalizing that backlinking strategy. Okay, you want to make sure that you are linking from a quality source only to your website. If you notice in your backlink profile, and there are tools out there for this, right? Ahrefs is one of them. Okay. We use Majestic for checking our backlink profiles, but if there's bad ones out there, then you want to disavow them inside of your Google Search Console. Okay. Make sure that you disavow those things. All right. Another new one, website and Google Business Profile alignment. I talked about that. If you've got categories, if you've got services, you want to make sure that both your Google Business Profile has those as well as your website, okay, and that they match up. And on the product inside of Google Business Profile, they provide a link, right, and a way for you to link back to that actual page that matches up with that, okay? That's kind of a ninja hack there. New, natural language content optimized for conversational queries. What does this mean? Well, guess what? Because of AI, because of ChatGPT, because of Gemini, they are rewarding websites that have frequently asked questions on them. Okay. Try to get them very, very tightly answered. Okay. Meaning that if it's a question, how much, I'm probably going to come up with a horrible illustration on this, but if one of the questions that people ask frequently is, what does a new roof cost? Try to make it short and sweet on that answer. Okay. All right. So this is the reality that we're in now, right? I talked about this last year that this stuff was coming. We're there now. Number one, AI, as you saw today, overrides everything. They're appearing in 40% of the searches today. That $1,000 machine sitting in everyone's pocket, if they've got an Android, and now if you've got Google installed or Gemini installed on your phone, on your Apple phone, you can just simply say, hey, Gemini, or hey, Google, and it'll pop up and it'll answer your question. Okay. Make sure that you are focusing on AI in 2026. It is super important. We're talking about it with all of our clients. It's not hard. It's not simple, right? But it can be done on getting you ranked in those places. Multi-platform citations, right? So AI itself is pulling from Yelp. A new one to me, Reddit, and I'm not new to me that I've used Reddit for years and years and years. I've never once thought about using it for our roofing companies. We currently do not do this for our customers, for our clients, but I am highly considering adding that in. Okay, is Reddit. BBB and social media, we've always done those, right? But make sure that you have those citations that are linking back to your website. Authority is greater than proximity right now, okay, in AI results. If you've done everything that Gemini wants, okay, that AI, Google, AI, whatever you want to call it, it really is the back end of that is Gemini. If you've done everything that AI wants, that's going to trump proximity these days. Okay. And again, this is for the AI overview area. And if they ask inside of Gemini itself, website, right? And Google Business Profile Sync is critical. Make sure that AI cross-references your Google Business Profile, right? Match all those things up as much as you possibly can. I've talked about that a couple of times today. Conversational queries are rising. Who's the best roofer for storm damage versus roofer Dallas, right? Roofer Dallas still matters. But if you want to rank in AI, which is the future, okay, Google's already showing us the future. It's now, it's here. Who's the best roofer for storm damage? You want to make sure that answers that question on your website. Okay, so we have discussed the 4R roofing marketing machine. This is the framework that I wrote about in my book here. It includes reputation, reach, resell, and referral. We talked today about search engine optimization. In my opinion, one of the most important things to drive leads to your business today. Okay. Anyways, it's part of the framework. If it stops working, we're going to focus on something else. We here at Roofer Marketing Heroes are always in research and development mode. I am in a mastermind group with 450 other agencies, top agencies in the world. We talk about these things all the time. We share with each other what's working, what's not working. Make sure that if you hire a marketer, that they're at that level, because that's the level that you need these days. Okay. And in fact, we don't even consider ourselves a marketing agency anymore. We consider ourselves a growth partner, because we do all sorts of other things now, right? Like AI, like automations, and like all of these things that we need to do, like Samantha, solving a sales problem, okay? Making sure that we can help you with sales. You have lasted till the very end here. Congratulations. You've listened to me talk for an hour and 18 minutes. I'm sorry, but not sorry. Since you've stayed here so long, use this QR code to get a free book. It's a free download of The Ultimate Guide to Digital Marketing for Roofers. It's 336 pages of my past 20 plus years of knowledge. It's the exact recipe of what we do for our clients today. Go to go.roofermarketingheroes.com, use the QR code, and you'll be able to sign up and download that book. Last, if you are still here, you'd love to know how all this works, but would rather just hire someone to do it, we would love to help you out. As I stated earlier, we're on a mission to grow to double the size of 100 roofing companies by 2028. We'd love to help you get there. Use the QR code here or go to our website at roofermarketingheroes.com/schedule, and you'll be able to sign up for a strategy session so that we can pinpoint exactly what's wrong with your marketing, and we can make a plan with you to help fix that marketing issue. Okay? All right. Thank you all so much.